Yo, what up? This is D Knight, and you're listening to the Pardon the Insurrection podcast. My oh my, we've had so much going on. For starters, in case you missed it, we've got a new addition to the Pardon Pie family, Tara Dublin. Make sure you go follow her on Twitter at Tara Dublin Rocks. Also, pick up a copy of her book while you're at it. Make her day, The Sound of Settling. A very fun and interesting read compared to the things we talk about on this podcast. But yeah, we're heading toward the do or die time for the 2024 election. Go ahead and hit up JoeBiden.com. Get that man like $1 a month or something. Help his campaign staff up and get prepared to try and save our democracy. And make sure to grab like one other person you know and tell them about the podcast. Make sure they subscribe and tune in every single week. We got a lot of things coming up for you this year. We need all the support that we can get. So if you do your part and help us grow our audience, we'll do our part and help elect Joe Biden in 2024 and save American democracy. And this is the Pardon the Insurrection podcast.
Going through Nigerian Twitter and reading the tweets from people, literally people were flying, like Nigerians living abroad, the US, the UK, EU, etc. They were all sharing pictures and they were all young. They're like, flew home today to vote. Flew home today to vote. I want to say like 12 million people registered, like new registrations. And
yeah, that's really impressive.
Over 70% of them were under 30.
I want to say I read that somewhere, but I'm pretty sure it was your Substack.
Yeah.
So I'll be like, well, I read this, and you'll be like, yeah, Carol, I read that. That was that's my article.
It was the people were so, and all they kept saying was like, we're ready. Nigeria is ready. This is our time. We've been patient. We've waited after all the corruption. Plug the charger back up for me, bud. Thank you. And it's like, but you know, the excitement and the energy. It was kind of like it was reminiscent of 2020, where people were so energized to vote. You should have seen the lines. People in communities were like, at 3:00 in the morning, like people were like, "Oh, my parents came over at 3 in the morning and they're sleeping here, so they don't miss this vote." Like, so incredibly important. And there's been a lot of like talk of rigged election and voter fraud.
Oh man, you already knew that was coming.
But they're not us. They're like, if Obi doesn't win, it's because. Now, ordinarily, I don't buy into if it was a conspiracy theory, but knowing the corruption of Nigeria and that they've literally only been out of military dictatorship for 13 years. And the guy that, it's so funny because the guy who was president before today's election, or yesterday's election, he was the head of the military and he staged a coup in the 80s, took over the government, and then they cooed the cooler. And then it was another faction that they arrested his ass and threw him in jail.
Yeah, that's how that tends to go, right?
The other half of the military is like, fuck you, we gonna coup you. That I found pretty damn hilarious.
Well, that's one of the things Trump didn't think about. I was like, well, had the fucking coup here been successful, hey, bro, like there's nothing stopping anyone else from doing the same thing to you, dog.
From doing the same thing because, you know, authoritarians gonna authoritate. Like they don't want anybody to be top. They don't want anybody to be top dog but them, you know? So they're gonna like
drink the emperor.
Idi Amin overthrew the government in Uganda when he was in the military, and then he was president for like 6 years, and then he was overthrown.
Yeah, I don't remember how long it was. It wasn't too long. He didn't make it two terms of whatever American
I saw that movie in I had to be 7 or 8.
God damn.
And it was on VHS. Why we had that movie, I don't know.
Why were you watching that?
I watched it
as a kid?
And I'm watching this, and I'm like, is this shit real? Said based on a true story, the life of Idi Amin, and his child bride and his cannibalism. And I was like, what? It was a horror film. As far as I was concerned, I had nightmares. And I was like, I am never going to Africa.
Yeah.
Because of course I wasn't
I can't understand what the fuck your parents were doing where they were letting you watch that as like a youth.
Well, we also had this little whorehouse in Texas, which became my favorite movie at 10 on VHS. So
yeah, but that's like less traumatizing than fucking watching
watching a grown-ass man eat his citizens and rape minor girls. You don't say.
Yeah, some weird shit. And then like you can clearly see he was the type of personality that would try to do something like, I don't know, overthrow the fucking government.
Yeah, so we were always going to talk about insurrections, and maybe it was just a little slow in the United States, and so we're discussing worldwide historical insurrections today. On Pardon the Insurrection. Pardon the Insurrections.
Okay.
Because we don't worry about that here.
Psych. Count us Indy.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Hey, this is D-Night.
This is Carol.
This is Ty.
And you're listening to the Pardon the Insurrection podcast, where we're letting Carol take over and produce the show for our 50th episode. Congratulations, Pardon the Insurrection. You've done it. 50 episodes.
50 episode. And when we say take over and produce the show, we mean I finally helped and took some notes. I was useful 1 out of 50 times. And I'm like, everyone, pat me on the back. I've helped once.
Okay, look, let's give the people the behind the scenes here, right? So normally what I do is I kind of game plan everything. I have a general idea what we want to do for the show, and then I'll go get our notes together, and then we'll show up when it's time to record. I'm like, all right, guys, here we go. Here's your notes. Boom, you ready to go? And I hit record, and then we go. And like, I don't know how they manage to pull this off every single week. Not having any kind of plans in advance, but they show up, they hop on the microphone, and they're fucking intelligent, insightful, and entertaining. I'm like, that's an impossible skill set. I'm glad they have it, because we're about to do the opposite of that, where Carol's taking control of everything, and I'm showing up like, all right, I don't know what the fuck we're doing, but let's go.
Well, I wanted my friend to finally get to do some of the comic relief, because he invited me as like, he's like, I want you on to be our legal expert. And I was like, legal sucker. Anyway.
I think I said that in like a joking manner. I wasn't like seriously expecting you to do like legal analysis. It was just funny.
Anyway, so yeah, we've had some stuff going on, insurrection and democracy related.
You don't say.
We'll just quickly run through it's kind of boring at this point. We'll just quickly go through the Proud Boys seditious conspiracy trial.
I mean, who can ever get bored with Proud Boys going to prison?
Yeah, so we have a cooperating witness, Jeremy Bertino, and he had indicated in his testimony that there was a plan, which was up to and including civil war and by any means necessary. He was unable to participate on January 6th because of a stab wound from a previous insurrection-related incident in December at a protest in D.C.
Wait. All right.
You wait all year and you miss the party.
You get stabbed one time.
He shot his load a little early.
One time I get stabbed and I missed.
He was in DC. So Bertino is he's a regional leader for the Proud Boys. I can't remember where he's based at, but he is the only Proud Boy in Proud Boy leadership to have pled guilty so far and to cooperate with the feds. And I think they were doing some sort of like dry run type shit mid-December. It was like, after Trump was like, oh, be there, we'll be wild. Like the Proud Boys were the first group to mobilize, and they were doing some kind of and so things got a little out of control, and he ended up, getting a knife wound to the gut. So he wasn't readily available on January 6th like the rest of the crew.
And that's why you don't get stabbed in the gut.
I mean,
and then,
you think if you're going to try to overthrow the government, like maybe you want to save like all your ammunition for that.
Well, you would think that getting stabbed would make you reflect a little bit on your life choice.
No, instead you just stay home like, come on, guys, any means necessary. Just do it. So his testimony also indicated that the infamous stand back and stand by statement in the end had the effect of tripling the Proud Boys membership. So
for sure,
that mixed with Bertino's other testimony, it kind of all together had the effect of showing that he thought that the insurrection was incited by Trump, part of a pre-orchestrated plan to violently overthrow the government with violence. And yeah,
it's kind of redundant. Violently overthrow with violence, kind of.
He thought it was a rally.
So I wrote the word violence twice.
You don't have to tell them what it says, Carol. It's
But I
okay.
just said it out loud and then you said it.
But what I want to know is his wound healing properly? Oh, yeah.
Who cares? I hope not. Like, I hope it
I've
bothers him for
heard
the
that
rest
the
of his life.
medical care in prison is not
Not ideal.
top notch.
No, not great. I mean, it's unfortunate. Like, I, don't wish poor health on anyone except for people who tried to overthrow the government. So I guess if anyone's going to be dealing with poor medical treatment, it should be him.
Yeah,
Should be him. Fun times. All right. Yeah. So that trial's still ongoing. When things conclude, absolutely be sure to, check out the podcast. It'll be topic number 1 on the next
And we'll
episode.
definitely be circling back to that.
For sure.
Now we're going to
Next on the
sweep
list.
across the map. Because I assume this trial wasn't in Arizona. Otherwise, this doesn't work. We're going to Arizona. Where,
It's okay. It doesn't have to be a smooth transition.
Ty, take it away.
Okay.
So we got this dude, Mark Brnovich.
All right. Yeah. Mr. Bernovich.
Okay, I think it's my, okay, there we go.
Yeah.
I don't know why every time I tried to click on it, it would like take me to a different fucking, I don't know, something else. Okay. So,
I know, like every time I try and touch a woman, it goes poorly. So I can totally understand you trying to tap the link and it not
it
going
gets
the way.
glitchy when you touch a woman. Okay. Mark Brnovich, the Republican former Attorney General of Arizona, received a report in his capacity as AG in March of 2022. The report revealed that most claims of voter fraud in the 2020 election were not substantiated and were ruled out. Brnovich sits on the report for a month. Releases interim.
Hold on. So the thing is, like, the thing is not that the report revealed that like nothing untoward happened in the 2020 election. It's like, well, bitch, you knew this whole time, man. I'm sorry. Just had to point that out.
Yeah, exactly. He releases an interim report stating in part his assertion that the audit revealed serious vulnerabilities that must be addressed and raises questions about the 2020 election in Arizona. Bullshit. Okay. He failed to release a September 22 report that compellingly and painstakingly refuted dead voters, ballots from China, digital ballot interception by Italy's military. And
See, you laughing, but like they really tried to pull that shit. Remember with like the Chinese bamboo and the fake ballots that China supposedly shipped over here?
It just sunk in how absolutely fucking
bonkers all of their 2020 election. Yeah, not ideal. It's bad times. And the best part was who came up with the idea of like the Italian satellites interfering with the voting machines? Was that Sidney Powell? Because that was some crackhead type shit. Like,
or some Mike Lindell.
I don't think that he got it from somewhere, and I think that may have been her. But anyway, yes, continue. Sorry, Ty.
So 430 investigations were opened based on 638 complaints and using 10,000 hours of AG's investigative team's time.
Wow.
Said team concluded that Cyber Ninja's report contained no evidence of the type of fraud alleged. No shit.
Well, the Cyber Ninjas basically took control of the voting machines for like, 8 months or something? And even in all that time, they couldn't even manufacture a fucking, they couldn't manufacture any issues with
what Brnovich left out was the audit went in favor of Joe Biden, increased his win.
Oh, yeah.
Margin.
That's right. I forgot. Biden
like
won by even more votes than he did.
Like, additional votes for Biden. Oh my gosh.
Oh my God. And this is the thing, right? Oh, sorry, Carol. What were you saying?
I was just gonna say, I assume that we have some other similar shit going on there with the Carrie Lake. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was thinking about that. Was that your filter? Were you making a filter?
Well, Carrie Lake.
I was making a filter. Oh, that's
Isn't Carrie Lake she's one of the people who, after Trump's lawyers got sanctioned for $1 million, dropped all her lawsuits because she was like, oh, fuck, I don't have $1 million. Yeah. So what's really incredible about Arizona, just if you remember, November 2022 election or 2020 election, like one of the first, well, as a matter of fact, the first news outlet to call the election in Arizona for Joe Biden was Fox News. And guess what happened after that? They fired everyone who was involved in calling the election for Biden in Arizona. That was great time.
Yeah, the election desk or whatever they're called. Yeah.
And then we just saw those texts that came out this week.
Yeah, we're going to get to that shortly. We'll save that. But yeah, great use of tax dollars down there, Mr. Brnovich.
The entire Arizona GOP is just
fucking disaster.
They're ridiculous. Like the entire fucking GOP. You got Kelly Ward's crazy ass, and she's been appointed as the chair of the Senate Election Committee. What the actual fuck?
When did this happen? Did I miss that?
Like a week or two ago, because I was just looking for, stories or whatever news to write about. And I was like, oh my God, seriously?
Oh, shit. Well, this is like, I don't know. I don't understand like why they're putting terrible people in. Like, it's like they don't want to win the 2024 election, right? You put terrible people who don't know what they're doing in charge of running your elections, and then you wonder why you lose. Like putting Rick Scott in charge of the Senate committee funds, and then like this is the dude responsible for the largest Medicare fraud in the history of the United States, and then you wonder where all your PAC money went to. Yeah, good job, kids. Yep, Carrie Lake, Kelly Ward, Arizona, shit show. It's a shit show.
Yep, it is.
All right, what's next on the list, Carol?
Let's see. We've got an activism alert. Do you want to take a
activism alert? Activism alert. Yeah.
So, in case you're looking for something to do, the Virginia State Senate seat in the Dem leading area, we have to replace Jennifer McClellan, who won a U.S. Congress special election recently. Oh, good. This will be so pertinent. The flash primary was yesterday when this comes out, Sunday, February 26th.
Okay, full disclosure, we're recording this on Sunday, February 26th.
There were 3 Democratic candidates. The election will be March 28th. So
okay,
there was like a flash election, and they were like, it was like, they called it a firehouse election. And it said like, the things are like, the locations are still TBD. Like, then the real election will be the 28th. And they had like 2 days to put their together.
We're fired for not doing this in a timely fashion. I'm sorry.
Well,
perfect timing. A day after the election.
I think they'll still get one of their candidates in the primary.
Yeah, I would
it was the primary.
So.
You still get to vote on March 28th.
You do.
And
but the primary is over.
Help fill the Virginia State Senate seat in a Dem-leaning area.
Okay, let's give them an actual activism alert, right? Wisconsin Supreme Court election taking place. I forgot. What is it, next month? Is that
well, they just had the primary.
Well, the primary is over, but now you get the chance, Wisconsin, to enact a dim majority on the state Supreme Court, which could affect everything from access to abortion to gerrymandering to voting rights to, any decisions forthcoming about the 2024 election. Like, here's your chance. You want to get your state back. You want to get your state legislature back. I think you actually have the state legislature. Well, you want to get.
So the election will be Tuesday, April 4th.
Oh, sweet. Yep. Just remember, you have the opportunity to, actually make Wisconsin a democracy for a change, as opposed to, basically being minority rule because Republicans had so badly gerrymandered the state. There you go. There's your activism alert. There you go. See, I saved it, Carol. Good job, me.
Excellent. You saved it, sure.
At a rare occasion. Ty, what you doing over there?
Why don't you take our subversion alert, D?
Who, me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Subversion alert in New Orleans.
Yeah, I'll let Ty handle it.
Oh, their mayor, LaToya Cantrell, is facing a recall.
But if anyone wants some, D, I'm right here.
Eileen Carter and Belden Batiste lead an effort to collect signatures to trigger consideration of a recall election, supposedly a bipartisan effort. Lawsuit to determine the number of signatures needed to ask for the recall. based on the percentage of active voters, and that number is disputed.
So yeah, that basically these there's like an effort to recall the first Black female mayor of New Orleans. I don't know anything about her politics.
Okay, I see. So they basically try to do that thing where they rush in a bunch of signatures at the last moment to try and get her out of office. And
well, they did that. They tried that shit in Michigan when they were trying to, their anti-Governor Whitmer's, the GOP.
Yeah, good
and then
luck
it
with
turned out that they were all fraudulent, like tens of thousands of fraudulent signatures, literally the same fucking handwriting, and they used like different pen colors because
Ty, you don't say. The people who spend the last 2.5 years constantly claiming election fraud are responsible for fraud. Surprise, surprise.
I never would have thought.
No,
I never would
have guessed.
So yeah, they're in court. They're litigating like what is the total number of active registered voters, so that the percentage of that number that of votes they have to get is smaller. And
yeah, well, the thing is,
of the they're like hoping they'll have enough signatures to get the
right. Well, the thing is, apparently they got more signatures for her recall than she actually got votes, which seems fucking impossible. I'm just saying.
That's the fucking I hate Republicans. Their whole existence
is a fuck shittery show.
Is just to be contrarian and aggravating, and they're just awful.
Yeah, all they do is run on grievance politics, and actually that's it. They don't really have much else to offer. They don't have any legislative positions anymore. They don't have any policy positions.
No. But you know what? They realized they didn't need it. When they realized they didn't need it, they're like, fuck them.
Yeah, we were doing all this hard work to try and create some, facade of being an actual political party, and we were wasting our time. Let's just be jackasses. Yep, I was saying, like Carol said, I don't know anything specifically as it pertains to LaToya Cantrell's political policies, but it's just it's just funny that they were trying to get her up out of there so bad. They sent in more signatures for her recall than she got votes. Like, that doesn't look suspicious. Good job, guys.
Yeah, right? Exactly. And the money that these people cause.
Oh, yeah. The state.
Local
governments.
State municipalities.
Just throwing millions of dollars away.
Is just absolutely in-fucking-sane.
Yeah, I thought they were supposed to be fiscally responsible.
Exactly.
Ty, what happened? Why are they throwing all these millions of dollars away on shit that they know to be false or lies?
No, you don't understand. Fiscally responsible means they keep more of their money, and poor people are poor. Yes.
Gotcha.
Oh,
nailed it. Okay.
Yeah. That's Republican.
Sorry. They didn't lay that out more clearly in the brochure, right? Yeah.
That means no social programs.
Yeah, because they're spending all that money recounting elections that they know they lost. Got it.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, next on the list, what we got?
This is all you.
3 shirts alert. 3 shirts alert. Steve Bannon's past lawyers are suing him for stiffing them. And not stiffing them like the former head of CPAC. Different kind of stiffing. New York firm David Off Hutcher, and what the fuck kind of name is this for a firm? Is this like Citron?
Well, they usually use the last names of the partners.
Yeah, but Citron.
Yeah. No, I know how it works. I was just being a jackass. Yeah. Anyway, David Off Hutcher and Citron LLP are suing Steve Bannon for a breach of contract. Well, what might the breach of contract be, you ask? Well, more than $480,000 in unpaid legal fees, plus legal fees and interest, suckers. The firm was representing him for matters such as his previous fraud with the We Build the Wall campaign. And I'm sorry, I don't know what the fuck I was doing there. English is difficult when it's your first language. This keeps coming up every podcast. And his refusal to comply with a congressional subpoena and his need for a pardon. Oh my God. I forgot that he was initially pardoned by Trump the first time for the week on the wall scandal. And this motherfucker is going to jail for the same shit. I'm sorry. It tickles me.
And the pardon came like last minute.
Yeah.
Like because
Trump tried to overthrow the government.
Him.
Yeah, and then he was like, all right, pardon's on the way out. And then Bannon.
He had to work for that pardon.
Oh my God. Well, I would imagine that's probably how Trump got a number of people involved, right? They were already in some legal jeopardy, and he was like, well, you want to get a pardon, you better help me try and fucking stay in power. And what kind of dipshit must you be when you get a presidential pardon, like all your federal crimes erased, and you still about to go to fucking jail? You a genius.
But I love how this law firm, that the pardon that he needed to get was the one that they helped facilitate for him.
And then they're
suing him over it. Yeah, he didn't pay them.
His own legal representation is suing him because they got him a pardon and he didn't pay them. It's
and I'm like, fuck that law firm, like they don't. It couldn't have happened to a nicer law firm.
You know what? I was thinking that just made me think about something. Remember when it was revealed about like the $250,000 pay for pardon scam?
Oh yeah.
I wonder if they ponied up, and that's why, because they're making the pardon a part of their complaint.
Right.
Yeah, like why would he pay you for that if you're working in your capacity as an attorney and I assume had a retainer?
Right.
But I think there's more that hasn't been released. I think they forked over.
So what you're saying is they might have been involved in Michael Cohen like activities where they're getting billed as legal fees, but they're taking that money and using it in untoward ways, like paying for pardons.
Yeah.
Instead of porn stars. Yeah. Yeah. So
exactly.
Except he didn't pay the legal fees either.
Well, here's the thing though, like if I was a law firm and I was engaged in such unscrupulous activity, I wouldn't want to fucking draw attention to it by suing my client for the money that I may or may not have paid to receive a pardon.
Well, one thing that I know is if I have paid my electric bill, they only let me go so far before they're like leaving my ass in the dark. You only like miss your car payment so many times before they come and take your shit. Yeah. So once you get to like, I don't know, 50,000, 100,000, 200,000 billable hours, then this is like, he's owed them this money for a minute.
Right, but it's not like they can come and take his pardon back. Like he got that. It's not like it's like the electricity. Like, yeah, they can cut it off, but like once you've used it, you've already used the electricity. Like you can't get the electricity.
Well, they're seeing that bill being racked up. They see it going and going and going and going. Now, just in Bannon's defense, they let that shit get to $500,000.
What's the reconnection fee for like $500,000 in legal fees?
Wait, no, that's wrong. Shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. That's it. But yeah, they were like, okay, we're not doing shit else. Pause. You need to cut a check. Fuck you, pay me. But they did it. They continued to perform services.
Yeah.
For him.
Well, here's the thing. So apparently Bannon has at least paid $375,000 in total so far, even though the grand total for their services is upwards of $855,000. So it's not like, he hadn't paid zero. It's just, he only paid 40% of what he owed them.
That's so much legal work.
I'm going to send $1 to my water bill tomorrow. In good faith.
And hope that they will continue providing you with their services, with their water services, because you paid at least a small percentage of the water fee. Yeah, I don't really understand. But look, at least Bannon tried to pay something. He didn't just like totally stiff.
When are we going to find out what the hell he did with the $25 million?
Damn it! I was trying to make a joke about how he only got it halfway stiff.
Oh.
Why
Well,
is nobody
anyway.
asking where the fuck the money went? $25 million is a lot of scratch, and that's what he raised with the We Build the Wall scam.
Well, he didn't. Not all of that went to him.
So, but nobody's questioning where that money is.
It went to a high quality wall construction, of course.
Well,
And it was literally 3 miles from me in Sunland Park where they were building that wall.
Wow. He was involved in the scam that's supposed to build a wall miles from me. That's crazy. The world is so small. Some of it went to his, his cohorts in that affair, the other handful of individuals who were indicted.
What, Kofaj?
Yeah, that guy, Kofagi, I think. I don't know how to say his name. Like, this is the problem when you read things, but you don't actually, like, hear them spoken. You don't know how to pronounce anything. But yeah, so they got their hands in some of that money, and I think some of the money went to an actual project. But I don't actually know how much of the wall got built. I mean, I guess I could Google that and just stop being.
Well, I know 2 things that the money wasn't spent on. It was clothes and Valtrex. So there we go.
All right, we got a fascism alert.
It's got a lot of alerts today, Carol. I mean,
I fell in I told you I smoked a joint. I read a bunch of articles. I made an outline, and I went with a theme.
Oh, alerts!
I mean, I like it. And
Did you go with like an iPhone theme? Do we need like the iPhone alert sounder to pop off every time we get to a new topic? I don't know.
Oh, that's a good idea for an app.
I didn't have a plan. So anyway, fascism alert. Idaho wants to bring back the firing squad.
I was just going to say Bannon didn't have a plan either, and that's why he's about to go to jail, even though he got a fucking presidential pardon. Continue.
Oh, I'm going to go to jail for my podcast. Not yet. Not in the current.
This episode is actually pretty good, so I don't feel like you'll be going to prison for this.
Yeah. Idaho Rep. Bruce Skaug,
There's still
Republican, introduced a bill to bring back the firing squad, citing lack of supply of drugs needed for lethal injection.
What the fuck? Yo, what the fuck?
Carol, is this real?
This is real.
What am I reading?
I've cited my sources. You can see on the notes.
What the fuck? I'm sorry.
So, yes, doesn't even consider not executing prisoners as an option. Sorry, we're short on syringes. We're just going to have to shoot them.
Yeah, my bad.
I'm sorry, it's very serious. Because they should be shooting people.
Are we still dealing with like 2020 supply chain problems where we can't even get the drugs to execute people in like a non-horrific fashion? I mean, it's already brutal enough, but they're like, yeah, we can't even get the drugs. I guess we're just going to put a bullet in your ass. That's fucked.
We have plenty of guns, and shooting everything is as American as apple pie, full of bullets.
You know my favorite thing about
off the tongue.
Oh no, not great. You know my favorite fun fact about the firing squad is that in I think it was November of 2020. Trump had Bill Barr reinstate death by firing squad. So when he tried to overthrow the government, if he gets convicted, Trump will have signed into law the very thing that could be his own end. That's just, fun fact. Now, of course, he'd have to be convicted of a crime to which the death penalty is possible punishment. And I actually don't think sedition fits that particular punishment, but hey, it's just a good thing to laugh at. I mean, if there is any humor to be had in an attempt to overthrow the United States government and our democracy, it's that. It is that, yeah.
Is there really still a firing squad that's still in force?
I don't think Biden's DOJ is enforcing any kind of death penalty at the moment, and certainly not by firing squad. You may have your qualms with the guy and how he's running the show, but at least like that's not an issue.
Yeah. Wait, but I didn't say is it being enforced. I said is the law still in force?
I think it's a policy.
Well, yeah. He did
okay.
when it's kind of weird because how it was written, it opens the door for even states to go to the firing squad. I don't know. It's kind of weird. I don't have it in front of me, but I was actually working, researching for a story, and it's like something in the wording of it. You know, when they ramped up their killing spree in his last 2 months of office.
Yeah.
And Bill Barr said that if he'd been reelected, they had planned to ramp it up.
It's fucked.
Yeah, it's not a law. It was a DOJ policy that had previously banned death by firing squad and any other number of manners that were deemed cruel and inhumane. And Trump tried to bring those back.
But they're no longer unusual.
Yeah, I was trying to avoid that word. It's like, well, okay, so he brought back the death by firing squad, electrocution, and I think hanging was the other method. Look, and I don't mean to make light of this, like death.
Well, if you're light of bullets, if you're out of lethal injection stuff, and
well,
bullets,
I mean, that was just funny because it's like, oh, we're fucking lazy. Like that's the thing. It's like, oh, we don't feel like waiting around to get I guess not that there's a humane way to execute people, but the least atrocious.
What was lazy was this fucking bum ass excuse that he used for wanting to go to the firing squad.
I mean, the supply chain.
Fucking people are on death row in Idaho that you don't have enough.
Okay, I will be honest with you. I don't even know what the population of Idaho is, but I think it's less than 1 million people.
13 people. Yeah, that's it. So,
you know what? I'm sorry. It's 1.9 million people. Congratulations, Idaho.
Well, why they can't hey, Montana, can I get some of that? We got an execution, you know? I mean, how much do they need for one person that they don't have enough? So I'm assuming they don't have any. I don't know. I'm trying to wrap there's a lot of fucking unpacking here.
So this is a kind of a caveat because I was just reading this, but did you see about this? The Salvadorian mega prison?
I heard about it, that they're putting all the gang members in. I saw a headline and I saved it, but I didn't read it. It's a super
creepy. They have some photos and it's just it just looks really inhumane.
Wow.
It's just people shoved together, and it's obviously they shove them together to take pictures.
Oh my God.
Them.
I'm sorry, I just saw a picture. This is horrific.
Yeah, and they can fit 40,000 people, and they're just kind of
that's half the country.
And they're glibly talking about, how people are just going to be spending decades there. Hey, it's dark, but we're talking about this prisoner shit. It's not
okay. But how? Okay.
The death penalty is less dark than this fucking prison. I just want you to know.
Okay, we'll get back to the much more more cheerful topic I had. The next topic of
death penalty for abortion.
Yeah, South Carolina introduces fetal personhood bill 2023 H3549.
Oh yeah, we're skipping this one, Carol. Sorry, it's too dark. I don't want to. Yeah.
How are they gonna kill them? There's a shortage of.
It's in Idaho.
That's Idaho. That's a different state. I'm sure South Carolina will absolutely go out of their way to find a way of killing women for, this is, wow, real downer, Carol. Thanks.
They may as well bring back burning at the stake. I mean, that's.
I mean, hell, Alito.
I was just gonna explain the rule a little bit, but if you're saying it's depressing,
I mean, just go ahead. Look, I just.
So the point of this bill defines a person explicitly as including unborn children from the moment of fertilization onward. So, obviously that you can see where they're going with this, and when the defendant is the pregnant woman to. Basically they would liken abortion to murder because they have it as a person. When defendant is a pregnant woman, It is a defense, though. These are the defenses. It is, quote, defense to the prosecution under this article that the mother engaged in the prescribed conduct because she was compelled to do so by the threat of imminent death or great bodily injury. So there's like some exception for not dying. They have limited exceptions for care providers acting to avoid the death of the mother. But it makes explicit that the deliberate, quote, killing of a fetus will be charged as murder, which comes with a mandatory minimum sentence of 30 years to life or the death sentence.
Oh,
so
Jesus Christ, Carol.
It's fucked up.
Way to bring the mood down.
Yeah,
We were just talking about fascism and insurrections. The mood.
Yeah, but at least that's more fun than this. Like, I don't want to hear about killing
Carol
women.
wanted to end on an upbeat note.
Oh, yeah, appreciate that, Carol.